Today's video, we'll be covering a absolute legend because what we're about to see is a lady that, as you can see, is fairly big, like very big. Let's not even sugarcoat this. She was a very big girl. I may have added one too many bigs, but in general, she speaks about her rock bottom moment and how this moment here is what pushed her to actually make a change. And I feel like it's absolutely vital to cover this simply because we've seen the rise of super insane people just trying to justify themselves being super overweight.
As a fat person, I often dread medical appointments because of blatant medical fat phobia.
But this lady chose to not live in that delusional world. And actually, you don't even need to hear me say, let's hear her story.
I spent most of my life obese, so I became comfortable in my discomfort. But 3 years ago today, I hit my rock bottom. I went to Disneyland with my sister, brother-in-law, and my nephew, who is one of my favorite people in the world. I knew it would be challenging because I was nearly 400 pounds at the time, but I didn't want to miss out on this experience with him. Within a few hours, my feet hurt, my back was sore, and I had a migraine. I spent most of the day sitting on benches while they rode the rides because even standing in line was too much for my body.
This is the stuff that they often forget to mention when these fat activists specifically get in the bag of like, I don't need to change, I'm healthy. These are some of the issues that many people will face, especially as they get older. When you're in your 20s and you're really overweight, it's still going to have consequences, but when you're in your 30s and 50s and 30s, 40s and 50s, it starts showing up.
That night, I realized I couldn't keep living like this. I had a vision for my future, but the path I was on was only pulling me farther from it. I used to chase quick fixes because I wanted to change my body more than I wanted to change my life. But this time, I prioritized gaining health over losing weight. I shifted my focus from looking different to feeling different. This time, it wasn't about chasing a smaller body. It was about living a bigger life. My life has drastically changed for the better in 3 years. And not only have those years of investing in myself transformed my present, but they've completely altered my future. It's not too late. You deserve to live the life you've been dreaming of. There is so much waiting for you on the other side of your comfort zone. Bet on yourself. You have no idea what you are capable of.
I think what you said there was quite important because we spoke about it in a previous video, or many previous videos to be honest. A lot of people that have always grown up overweight, they don't know what it's like on the other side. For example, it's different if you were thin and you gained weight, but when you've always been overweight, you don't realize how much more benefits you get, even in the range of motion of simple things like walking up the stairs or bending over, because you've never experienced it. And this is the thing that many of them don't understand, which keeps them in that delusion, because many of these fat activists are talking from a place of they have only ever lived as how they are, and they don't realize how much more improvements, which is why you often find that people, even if they were in that camp of the fat positive community, when they gradually lose weight, especially since Ozempic came around, they then change from that kind of mindset to championing losing weight because they realize, damn, I've been living in a genjutsu. I've been living in such confusion that I didn't realize what was on the other side, because this isn't like a little, you lost 10 pounds. When you're losing 200 pounds, the amount of everyday improvements that you are going to get is insane. I couldn't even understand it myself. You know what I mean? Like when I go from sometimes being 30 pounds heavier at the end of peak bulks down to my lean weight, I saw changes, but it's nothing like people like this lady would experience that are going through tremendous changes. And this is just the visual we're talking about. She just spoke about the mental changes she went and the fact that being ashamed that she couldn't keep up with her family just walking through a theme park. All I can do is salute her to the max. And the fact that she done it all naturally, like calorie deficits and walking and going to the gym, is just the added like bonus on top. Because if I'm being completely honest, when it comes to people her size, I know some people are really like a little bit against the Ozempic thing because they say it's cheating. In all honesty, I understand where that mindset comes from, but if you're someone that's really obese, as long as you're not relying on Ozempic and you still do some sort of fitness measures, I think the outcomes of you being or staying super big is much worse than if you actually start taking Ozempic and also trying to do the other stuff as well to keep your weight down. I feel like that way, even though it's more expensive and some will call you a cheater, living that way is probably much better than you just staying big. Because in my opinion, for someone really obese, if hearing about this wonder drug, Ozempic or Mounjaro, whatever you're going to use, is that little catalyst that gets you to go, you know what, I'll take that and I'll also start getting in shape. If that is all you need and like some sort of miracle jab to make you take that first step, I'm not against it, because some people's discipline levels is low. Like, not many people are born with Davy Goggins level discipline, or even just basic discipline of, I can go to the gym 2 times a week. That sounds very low, but some people, especially if they've been brought up a certain way and don't value movement or exercise, they just don't have it. So if this little magic drug can kind of push them over that milestone, I think it's fine. It just so happens that in this lady's standpoint, she didn't go that route. She just did it all naturally. The only surgeries I saw her take are surgeries such as these, like skin removals, because regardless of what people say, how big she was, losing that weight, she was always going to have stretched skin. Her skin at that point was stretched to the max. It was never going to elasticate back. In reality, when you're that big, that sort of skin is going to happen. Therefore, you're going to have to get it chopped off during surgery or just keep it swinging around. But people don't realize that skin's heavy. So she chopped it off, fair enough. And the only other one I saw, she done a breast lift, but I don't really need to show you the breast lift. Basically, her boobs are bare saggy down here, and she got them lifted up to normal height. So, in my opinion, those sort of cosmetic changes after undergoing this is fine. It wasn't like she went and ran and got a gastric band or got lipo straight away. She put in the hard work and the time and dedication simply because she knew it needed to be done. And to add to the greatness, she done this in under 2 years. Like, that's insane. For the 200 pounds lost, I was thinking more 4 or 5 years. That just takes a level of dedication, accountability, but it also depends on your personality, because there's people that have had moments like this and their alternative mindset is, I'm going to make an issue. For example, it takes 2 types of mindsets. One that realizes I've gone too far, and the other mindset that wants entitlement, that really feels like they should have to not change and everything else should.
If you've ever been uncomfortable in a restaurant because of your size, I know the struggle. With this video, I hope to educate some restaurant owners so that they can make their restaurants more size inclusive.
You can call me crazy or maybe even fat phobic, but I do think that personal accountability is vital when it comes to things like this, especially when it comes to your health. So I do believe people like this lady, Leah, these are the ones that should be pushed to the forefront. You know what I mean? Like, she saw an instance that made her feel terrible. She didn't just dwell in that pain. She made sure to get out there and make something happen and ultimately improve her life. Like, at the end of the day, even if it doesn't affect anybody else, it affected her and she changed it. Before we go, I wanted to highlight this bit here. Someone comments, what are your top 5 changes that made the biggest difference for you when losing the weight? I think that's vital, especially for other super overweight people, to see what's the challenges they really need to overcome. And she puts down walking, or at least moving my body intentionally, which means like purposely choosing to go on walks per day. Then she says, tracking my calories daily, focusing on why it's important for me to get healthy, then following through with my healthy habits, whether I feel motivated or not. And finally, it says, starting small and building up my habits as it felt doable. This is something I always say. People always think they have to go for the largest and leaps and bounds when it comes to creating these habits. They really don't. You need to go for the small manageable wins, the wins that most people aren't even going to see, like the unseen wins, which would be literally something as simple as making sure every single day to leave my house. Sounds minor, but there's many people that unless they have a reason to leave their house, and especially if they work from home, they won't leave their house that day. So making sure to leave your house, even if it's just for 10 minutes, things like that really stack up as you gradually get better and better and better and add more of these small wins. And then as you get better at being consistent with those, then you can create a higher level one, which is going from leaving the house to go for a 30-minute walk, then go for a 45-minute walk, and so on. So shouts out to her. This isn't a long video. I just wanted to share that inspiration like this should be the things that people are seeing online. It doesn't have to be about chasing abs, but this was about changing their lifestyle, and she did it. With that being said, if you enjoyed this video, please hit it with a thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts. Have you been in this somewhat position, or are you on that journey right now? Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video.